Hi everyone, welcome to the Coach's Corner. I'm your host Scott Wagner. Today we are talking Yellow Jackets basketball. Our guests are coaches Brian Poor, Jason Slay, and Renee Bostic. I'm here with Coach Bostic right now. Thanks for joining us, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
Always appreciate it. Let's go back to senior night last Wednesday, where it was a big win over Glenville State, who at the time was ranked #1 in the conference. Got to like the way your team came out and played in that game.
Yeah, there were a lot of emotions, and we came out. We played a very well-executed game. Our seniors contributed a lot, and it was an all-around good outing for our whole team.
Speaking of those seniors, it was Melissa Ford, Sharina Atkinson, and Avery Hale. All three of those players played a big role in that game, as you mentioned. How did you think that the game unfolded, whereas it was a rematch of a game where Glenville came out on top earlier in the season?
Yeah, I mean, we executed our game plan. We talked about wanting to push the ball. We talked about wanting to take care of the ball. We finished the game with a positive assist-to-turnover ratio, and whenever we have a positive assist-to-turnover ratio, we have won in the past, so we were excited about that.
In that first matchup, they made 22 three-pointers. In the most recent game, they barely shot more than 23s and made less than 10 in that game. Was that something that was a big adjustment for your team, knowing you're going to have to get out on those shooters?
Yeah, I mean, we got out on shooters. They didn't have a great shooting night either, but we got out on shooters. I think we picked up our defensive intensity. That's a team that our teams are kind of similar because we both like to get up and down the court. And I think the biggest thing for us in the game and the difference from when we played them at Glenville to when we played them at home is that we took care of the ball. We really got them out of their press. In the second half, they really kind of fell back into a zone, and that was to our advantage where we just took it at them.
Yeah, and this team, when they pass the ball really well, it's just really tough to beat. That's something that we noticed from the beginning of the season. Everybody's sharing the ball, and they're all on the same page. That's just really tough to stop.
Yeah, when we're all sharing the ball and everybody touches the ball and we have a positive assist-to-turnover ratio, we're most likely successful.
Now, you talked a little bit about the emotions going in. How did you feel like your team handled those emotions? Did it help you? Was it something that they had to play through, or how was it?
Well, we came out on the positive side, so it's a good indication that I think they handled their emotions. It was our last game at the pit, so our seniors, their last home game, their family came up and watched them play. So I think everybody handled it well. We got a good win, and we tried to build off of that.
Yeah, I know it was a big night for those seniors, and what was kind of the mood after the game? Because I know they wanted that win bad. Talking to Melissa, that's all she would talk about was how bad she wanted that win against Glenville, and they were able to get it done, and that had to be a big confidence boost for the team.
Well, it's the end of the season, going down the stretch. It was a team that had beat you earlier, and we actually were their biggest win point-wise for the season. So it was a little redemption. And every game at the end of the season is a big game because you need the momentum going into the playoffs.
Now, you've talked a lot about before how really more of a post team this year than an outside shooting team. When you're going up against a team like Glenville, who's going to try to jack up as many shots as they possibly can, what is some of the strategy going in when it's such contrasting styles as it was in that game?
Well, defense is the biggest thing. You got to get out on shooters. You got to get a hand up. You got to limit them to one opportunity, not 2 and 3 opportunities on the offensive side, and just contest shots. If we get out and play defense and contest shots and box people out, we're usually okay.
A little bit of defense leading to offense in that game. 6 players in double figures, and you always talk about usually when we have 6 players in double figures, it goes back to our defense.
When we have 3 or 4 people who are in double figures, at least it's defense. Our offense is generated off our defense, and that's really the nucleus of our team. When we get our offense generated off our defense, off of steals, off of bad shots, then we're really moving on all cylinders.
Seen a couple games this season where the team played extremely well in close games down the stretch. Talk a little bit about what that says about the character of your team, how that Glenville game, going back to the Pitt-Johnstown game, how this team, they made free throws down the stretch. Going back a couple weeks ago, Asia Greenleaf knocking down a shot to win a game here at the Pitt, in the final minutes of those games. Just what does that say about the character of your team?
that we're going to fight, and at this level, you got to fight. Winners, if you're going to win, you got to fight, and sometimes it's going to be close at the end, and you want those close games, and you want to come out victorious. So at the end of the season, because at the end of the season, it's always a dogfight, and everybody's trying to get a win, and everybody's, trying to be on top, and those close games have helped us get to the point that we're at right now.
Now, those 3 seniors, they're going to leave behind a foundation here for your team. Melissa Ford, Trina Atkinson, and Avery Hale have played at least 2 seasons for you. So how do you fill those spots, those holes left open? Of course, in college you have to do that every single year. But how do you fill those voids left by Melissa Ford, who's the leading scorer on the team?
Well, we have some underclassmen who have had really good freshman year. I mean, you look at Chelsea Davis, who was a freshman of the year in the conference, who was our second leading scorer. So, the cupboard is definitely not bare. Janelle Williams, who, is right under Chelsea. Then you have Asia Greenleaf. Sissy Wagner, who didn't play this year because of injury, but, we're looking for a lot of good things out of her. Then Kashana Cook, who came on, late in the season. She had an injury, so she wasn't able to play the first half, but, has shown that she can play multiple positions. She can hit the 3. Then you have Sierra Jones, who's, had a really good last couple of games, and then you have Lauren Estes. So we have a pretty good nucleus there, and we're going to go out and try to get some kids to fit into our system and to just keep it going.
And Chelsea, you said it, she was freshman of the year, honorable mention, all WVSU. So just talk a little bit about Chelsea, how much she's evolved as a player since she first came in. I know she was a redshirt freshman, so
Right.
she spent a year on the bench, and here she is in her first year putting up big-time numbers.
Well, Chelsea has a lot of God-given ability, and that's a blessing to her. And she's just, she's still in the phases where she's just trying to get that basketball skill to her athletic ability, and she's done a really good job this year. She was freshman of the year for us, and this is the first time ever in women's basketball history at West Virginia State that we've had a women's basketball player be freshman of the year. So we're just looking for, bigger and better things out of her, and then also out of her classmates, in Janelle and Asia, and also Jordan Brock, who I forgot to mention, who just joined our team in January. So we have a really good nucleus, and we're just going to build up on it.
Had to be really good to see Melissa Ford get honored as second-team All-Conference. Definitely a deserving player. She was very solid for you as a role player last year. One of the primary go-to players this year. Had to be good to see her get those accolades as a second-team All-Conference.
Yeah, we're happy that Melissa got that. Being our leading scorer, and she also led in some categories, and she moved from the post to the guard position for us. So she's done everything that we've asked her to do, for our team this year.
Now, we got about a minute left. I just want to ask you, as the last 2 games of the season, you took some losses, and the first-round tournament game at Concord was a tough loss for your team. So just wrap up the season. There was a lot of positives and negatives this year.
Yeah, we definitely thought that we would come out higher on the wins-loss category, but we had some positive things. We had our freshmen really step up, and now they're no longer freshmen, they're sophomores. So we're just looking for, to build on that for next year, and we're just ready to roll.
Congratulations on a good season, and we'll see you next year. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, then we're going now to take a break. Sit tight. We'll be right back with men's head coach Brian Poore.